Hi there, my name is Leon Pederick. I'm pleased to share with you my experiences during the summer of 1952-53 when, at the age of 22, I was working in the assessment branch of the Forest Commission of Victoria. I was appointed to lead a team of young men to assess the timber resource of the alpine ash forests around Mount Wills and Mount Bogong in the northeast of Victoria. To get to our area, we travelled southwards from Talangata and Mitta along the Omeo Highway. Further on, the road passed alongside the sparkling Snowy Creek. After this, it gained altitude on a long, winding upward grade until at last it reached the alpine ash forests. In a few places, views of the extensive mountain country to the east could be seen, including, on some clear days, Mount Kosciuszko. At about the highest point on the Omeo Highway, the Commission owned a cottage in a small clearing. We used this as our camp base and erected tents to accommodate our party of 8. The place was known as Sunnyside, after an abandoned mining settlement not far away. This old man, who lived alone in a shack nearby, warned us to beware of the tigers roaming in the bush. The country was quite steep. Nearby, we located a waterfall which surely must have the longest drop of any in Victoria. The summit of Mount Wills loomed high above our camp. We had to survey to the summit as part of our mapping of the area. But on this day, we went up to the top just to enjoy the views in all directions. We could see the Bogong High Plains, the upper reaches of the Mitta River, and Mount Bogong, Victoria's tallest mountain. And again, to the east, the view of seemingly endless mountains. The best of the alpine ash stands were located in a wide valley which contained the headwaters of the Snowy Creek. This was a fine example of the species. Our assessment method was first to survey the boundaries of the area, then work across it along regularly spaced straight lines, 20 chains apart. On this day, our compassman, Jeff Dowler, followed a fixed bearing and pulled a 3-chain measuring tape. Frank Geraghty was the assessor and recorded the size of all merchantable trees on a 1-chain wide strip centred on the tape. The rear chain man, myself on this day, measured the distances travelled and drew a map containing contours. A fine stand of manna gum grew along the creek banks. The Snowy Creek Valley was too wide to work across and back again in a day. Fortunately, a cattleman's hut was located on the far ridge, so we camped the night and returned the following day. Hop scrub was a common plant under the alpine ash and was a nuisance to our progress. To prepare for the overnight camping, we needed to stock the hut with food and blankets. We hired a horse from a local farmer, and one of our gang, an experienced rider, Phil King, became packman. A logging operation was in progress on part of our area. Here, the tree felling was undertaken with hand tools. It was just before the time when chainsaws came into general use. The logs were snigged to a landing. Then loaded onto a truck and driven to Dunstan's sawmill, which at that time was located at Eskdale. After logging, the forest started to regenerate. Here is some of the next crop of trees. We completed our work around Mount Wills by mid-January, and then we needed to move camp towards Mount Bogong. An area of dense regeneration blocked our access, so a track had to be cleared by bulldozer, and this included up a steep slope called Bull Hill. We also needed other tracks cleared to access the forests we were to assess. The tracks were rough but adequate. Here we are moving camp. The guys were excited and liked to show off. This is the track up Bull Hill. Beyond Bull Hill, the bumpy track was lined by snow gums. Our new campsite was a natural clearing called the Hollow, on a long ridge running down from Mount Bogong on the east side. It contained a cattleman's hut. We soon erected a line of tents for individual sleeping and a large double tent for our living and eating. A nearby spring was dammed using the bulldozer in order to provide our water supply. Here, David Patterson is doing his washing. And I am enjoying a bucket shower. Frank Geraghty is fixing the flooring for his tent. Two of our group, hey! Chris Curran and Phil King. This is me. Like many in these camps, I tried to grow a beard, but decided it was a failure. Ray Brash, a veteran of many camps, took a special interest in the food supplies. Our lifestyle created big appetites. Enjoying some relaxation in the sunshine, Gordon Doran. And John Crawley. Frank Lloyd, another assessment veteran. We think he was trying to follow the horse races in distant Tallangatta. And Jeff Dowler again. Mount Bogong was not far away and clearly in view from our camp. On one weekend day, Frank Geraghty and I decided to walk to the summit. It started as a fine, clear morning, but as we progressed, banks of cloud formed. As we climbed above the tree line, we could see far and wide. The ground surface was quite rocky. Occasional plants were in flower. The slopes became steeper and the vegetation was restricted to ground heaths. The final climb was very steep. Through the mists, we had views of the Bogong high plains. The summit of Mount Bogong was marked by this cairn. We disturbed some cattle grazing near the summit. Such grazing is now banned from the alpine country. This tumbled cairn marked the west summit and provided a vantage point for views down into the Kiwa Valley and the hydroelectric works. Back at camp, in the evenings, we had a view of the profile of Mount Buffalo in the far distance, with the outline of Mount Bogong close at hand. And so another day ended.